Wayfarer Mooney on YouTube also asked, does Tim have a Mount Rushmore of wrestling? Now, this could be, I guess these things depend on how people look at it, right? Sometimes it can be the greatest. Sometimes it can be your favorite. It can be your influence. If you have one, what would it be?
Probably easier if I talk about my favorites
Mm-hmm.
because when I can just feel the category teacher in me wanting to get into this. But it's like when you say who is the greatest of all time, to me you can't. That's not a fair question. Who's the greatest entertainer? Who drew the most money? Who's the greatest big man? Who's the best technical wrestler? And I think all of those, and at one point on a road trip for 14 hours, we put together some type of rubric and gave point systems to each one of those and tried to come up with something. But I grew up a big Harley race fan.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, really didn't know why I did. I looked back now and I appreciate how real, because everything about him was real.
So genuine.
Dusty Rhodes was a huge influence. That's just, if I had to pick my all-time favorite, he would be at the top. And which is, again, I think you and I got into this a little bit last time. Looking back at when I was whatever age I was watching, I couldn't have told you that he didn't have the best body in the biz. I didn't care. Those things didn't fit into my brain. Kerry Von Erich, and not necessarily from necessarily a technical wrestling standpoint, but charisma and obviously, a big body guy. And
there was something that people just gravitated towards him.
Yeah.
It's almost hard to put your finger on it. I guess it's the it factor, right? Where he just had that it factor that, it was like Beatlemania almost, for the Von Erichs. It's wild.
Well, they were beyond, they were celebrities locally. I mean, they were the top of the food chain on famous people in the state of Texas. And I was living in Arkansas at the time. So but I just was drawn to that. Never got the chance to, unfortunately, to meet, but I was in certain areas of Texas. I used the claw, specifically Denton County, which is home of the Von Erichs. And,
that's cool. That's cool.
That's just that's a lot of what I do is kind of an ode to, the greats that I consider great. And then I think without a doubt, Undertaker.
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought I was going to struggle with as world champion is, and my mind now is spinning with other greats, but one of the things that I thought I would, how do you, when you go into an area or territory, when you're defending the world title, you don't know who you're facing. You don't know if it's their top face, their top heel, and you have to be able to adjust to those things. And James told me, he goes, well, don't work face or heel, work world champion.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And I said, yeah, but what is that? He goes, well, what does Undertaker do? He goes out and he's the Undertaker. It doesn't matter if he's face or heel. So I may smile a little bit more, if the fans are cheering, but you're going to see the same stuff either way. I'm going to work the same. And I borrowed some old Lou Thez stuff, where he would take a completely unnecessary, seemingly cheap shot, an elbow coming off a tie up in the ropes, and all of a sudden the fans are booing you, and you didn't really do anything illegal. Anyway, that would be my Mount Rushmore for me, my personal favorites.
So Harley Race, Kerry Von Erich, Dusty Rhodes, and The Undertaker. That's an impressive four. And like you said, there's going to be more in your head, but still, that's an impressive four.